Welcome to Embrace Your Power. We're going to be tackling some pretty big questions today, like what is reality really? What about the self and the mind?
Yeah, we're going to be digging deep and challenging some assumptions, exploring a whole new way of looking at things,
Yeah.
at the world,
Yeah.
and ourselves ultimately.
Our guide for this deep dive is the book The Direct Path by Goode. It's full of these thought experiments and insights that, well, honestly, kind of shake things up.
For sure.
And where are we going with all this? Freedom. Freedom from suffering and truly realizing our potential. You ready to have your mind bent a little?
Oh, absolutely. Let's bend some minds. The direct path doesn't mess around. It jumps right into questioning how we experience, our everyday reality, starting with this idea of naive realism.
Okay, so naive realism. Break that down for me. What does that even mean?
Well, it's this belief that we just directly perceive the world exactly as it is, like totally separate from us. Like we open our eyes and boom,
Yeah.
there it is, right? But the direct path suggests that things might be a little more nuanced than that, a little more complex.
Okay, interesting. So to test that out, to test that idea out, the book uses a bunch of really interesting sensory experiments. Like right off the bat, there's one called Hearing the Bell. You want to try that with us?
Yeah, let's do it. So everybody listening, close your eyes for a sec and imagine a bell being struck. You hear that ringing. Okay, now ask yourself, where is that sound actually happening? Is there like a separate you listening to a separate bell somewhere outside of your awareness?
Yeah. When you put it that way, it's almost like the sound, the experience of hearing it, they're all part of one thing, not two separate things.
Exactly. That's the whole point. The direct path argues that both the sound and the hearing, they're both arising within awareness. There's no independent bell, no independent hearer out there.
Okay, so maybe the world isn't as solid and out there as we think it is?
Right. The direct path has this great example to illustrate how easily our senses can, fool us. It's a story about two rival painters in ancient Greece, Zeuxis and Parrhasius.
Oh, yeah. I love that story. It's like classic art history, right? Remind me how it goes again.
Okay, so Zeuxis, he paints these grapes, and they look so real that birds try to eat them. He's feeling super proud of himself, so he goes to see what Parrhasius is working on, but Parrhasius' painting is hidden behind a curtain. Zeuxis, he reaches out to pull back the curtain, and, well, you know what happens next.
The curtain itself is the painting. It's Parrhasius' work. He totally tricks Zeuxis.
Boom. You got it. Just like with the bell, we assume something is separate and real when really it's just our perception creating it.
So what we think of as the world, maybe it's really more like an experience happening within awareness. Wow, that kind of blows my mind. But wait, what about our bodies then? Are they part of this illusion too?
That's what we're going to explore next. Get ready for another mind-bending experiment. This time we're focusing on how we experience, well, ourselves, our physical selves.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go deeper into this whole awareness thing.
Yep.
What's the next experiment the direct path has for us?
All right, so this one's called Seeing the Body, and it really challenges, how we normally think about our physical selves. Ready to give it a shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Hemi.
Okay, so first things first, take a look at your hand. Really look at it. Notice everything about it. The shape, the texture, the color. You got it.
Yeah, I'm looking.
All right, now look away from your hand and then close your eyes. What happens to your hand when you do that?
Well, the visual, the seeing of it, it's gone, obviously. When I close my eyes, poof, it disappears.
Yeah, exactly. Now here's the question. Where's the seer? Where's that thing that's doing the seeing? Is there like a separate entity hanging out in your head watching the show as your hand appears and disappears?
Huh. That's a good question. I kind of want to say, it's behind my eyes, but I have a feeling it's not that simple.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. The direct path says that both the hand and the seeing of the hand, they're both arising in awareness. The body, just like that sound of the bell, is just a bunch of sensations all happening within this field of awareness.
Okay, I think I get it. It's still kind of mind-blowing to think of my body as just another experience with an awareness, not like, the container for me.
I know, right? It's a big shift in how we see things. And the direct path, to go even further, it brings up this really interesting thought experiment. It's called the Molyneux problem.
Oh, yeah, the Molyneux problem. That rings a bell. Wasn't that a question posed by some Irish scientist way back in the day?
You got it. Yeah, back in the 17th century, this guy, William Molyneux, he asked the philosopher John Locke, imagine a person born blind, right? They can tell the difference between a sphere and a cube by touch. No problem. But what if, suddenly, their sight is restored? Could they, just like that, recognize those shapes by sight alone?
Hmm. That is a really good question. I mean, on the one hand, you'd think they should be able to, but
Oh,
I don't know.
it's a question that's been around for ages. It's like, stump scientists, philosophers, everybody. The Molyneux problem, it really gets at this complicated relationship between our senses and how we perceive reality. Even science has a tough time explaining how our different senses work together to create a picture of the world, one that makes sense.
So if even science doesn't have a clear answer, how does the direct path deal with the Molyneux problem?
Well, it brings it back to this idea of awareness as the fundamental, the basis of all experience. It's saying that our senses, they're not really showing us this objective external reality. They're actually creating sensations within awareness. And then our minds, they interpret those sensations, which is how we end up perceiving the world.
So even seeing a sphere, seeing a cube, it's just another arising in awareness, not like proof that they exist out there, totally independent of us.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like our senses, they're painting a picture.
Yeah.
But the canvas is awareness. They're not showing us a world that already exists. They're creating it.
Yeah.
And this has like huge implications for how we understand everything, our bodies, our minds, the world.
I can see how this all connects to the embrace your power theme. If we're not just our bodies or our minds, but the awareness in which those things appear, that means like there's this whole level of power and freedom that we usually don't even see.
Absolutely. When you realize this, it can really change everything. It lets us step back from all those limits we usually put on ourselves, on our bodies and minds, and it opens up this whole new way of experiencing ourselves and the world. It's pretty amazing.
This is fascinating stuff. We've looked at how the world and the body are experienced within awareness.
Yeah.
What about the mind? That feels like the biggest one, most mysterious.
Ugh, the mind, the land of thoughts and feelings and all those beliefs we carry around. We often think it's the core of who we are. But the direct path has some surprising things to say about the mind, too. Get ready for another layer of this mind-bending journey.
Mm-hmm. All right, the mind. It does feel like that's where I am. All my thoughts, my feelings, my sense of self. How does the direct path tackle this one?
Yeah, that's a question that's been around forever, right? The direct path dives right in, talking about how our whole understanding of the mind has like shifted over time, in Western thought at least. Like we used to think of it as this container, right? The mind's this box and it holds all our thoughts and feelings.
All right.
But then we move to this mirror metaphor, where the mind reflects the world, but it distorts it too.
Yeah, those metaphors, we use them all the time, like filling our minds or having a distorted view. But the direct path wants us to go beyond the metaphors, right?
Exactly. It's about experiencing the mind directly, not just like theorizing about it. And to do that, the book has another experiment. Ready for this? Think about an orange. Got it. A nice juicy orange. Picture it in your mind. The shape, the color, the texture.
Okay, I got my orange.
Now close your eyes. Where's the orange now?
Gone. I mean, I have the thought of it, the idea of an orange, but no actual orange.
Exactly. That thought, just like the sound of the bell or seeing your hand, it's just a rising in awareness. It's not like a separate thing that proves an orange exists out there somewhere.
So even my thoughts, they're not me. They're just something that awareness is experiencing. That's a big deal.
It is. And this is where embrace your power really comes in. If you're not your thoughts, if they're not like the absolute truth, that can be incredibly freeing. You can see your inner world in a whole new way.
Okay, so if the world, my body, even my mind are all experienced within awareness, what is this awareness? Is there like a me that's separate from it?
Yeah.
The one doing the observing?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The direct path says awareness is like the backdrop, the background of all experience. It's what's aware of everything, thoughts, feelings, sensations. Like it's the screen where the movie of your life is playing. But then it goes even deeper. It asks, who's watching the screen?
Whoa, that's getting pretty meta. Is there like another me behind the me that's watching? It feels like an endless loop.
It does, doesn't it? The book gets that. It says, yeah, investigate that feeling, that sense of you, the one observing. But in the end, it points towards like a dissolving. Even that sense of separation dissolves.
So even the witness, that idea, it's a limitation. What's left when that's gone?
The book quotes this sage, Sri Atmananda. He said, the witness is the highest limit. When you reach the witness, your understanding of it as the witness disappears. But what appeared as the witness continues still as the reality. Pretty mind-blowing, huh?
Wow. So It's not about finding a separate me. It's realizing that awareness itself is the ultimate reality, that embrace your power is about embracing this awareness.
Exactly. That's where the true power is. You're not limited to your body, your thoughts, even your sense of self. You are that awareness. Everything appears within it.
So we've gone through the direct path together. We've seen how our usual ideas about the world, the body, the mind might not be the whole story. We're more than our limitations, more than what we usually think of as ourselves. This Embrace Your Power session has given us a lot to think about.
Absolutely. And don't forget, the book's full of experiments and questions to keep you going on this journey. It's all about experiencing these truths, not just thinking about them.
We've just given you a taste, a little glimpse. The real feast is exploring the direct path yourself. What power might you find when you shift from seeing yourself as this limited individual to recognizing yourself as this vast awareness?
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep embracing your power. Who knows, maybe we'll dive into another fascinating topic soon.